Greetings, gamer guys and gals. Welcome to part number 4 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 5 Thracia 776. And in this episode, we're going to continue on these Corsair Isles to our destination. That would be a little bit further. So we're just going to keep on moving. It's awesome that Avel got that movement star. But like I said over and over again, it's not necessary. This strategy works just fine without it. We are going to go ahead and move Halvin forward and equip the hand axe as well as use a vulnerary. I don't necessarily want to waste this vulnerary on him, but if he does get hit by both of the, or all of the enemies that he will be fighting up here, he will be KO'd. And as you saw there, this guy disappeared in the fog, which means I couldn't have attacked him with Finn, so I had to move someone near, that being Tanya. So Finn, we're going to be training his sword rank in this chapter. However, if you plan on doing this, or anything like this in any chapter with any mounted unit, dismounting him to train sword rank, I do highly recommend that you mount up before the end of the chapter. Otherwise, you start the next chapter dismounted. Whatever state you are in when you end the chapter is the state you will be in when you come back. Good job, Dagdar. I appreciate the critical. I appreciate the gusto. Such an amazing pre-promote. And he gets 1 HP. Nice. I would have preferred luck, actually. Not kidding. Yeah, these pirates are basically just suiciding into Dagdar because even though they can damage him, and they can do pretty significant damage, like that guy would have done 6 damage. That's not anything to scoff at, considering that Dagdar is a very strong pre-promote. They're still not going to actually do anything serious to him. Now, it's kind of surprising that Halvin has this much hit against these guys with that hand axe. 70-something hit. Pretty impressive, actually. Alright, so what we're going to do here first is we're actually going to attack this guy at range with Leaf. If we get an Adept, we're fine, but if we get like an Adept crit, we could actually have a serious time here. Seriously bad time. Okay, we did not. That's good. We just want him a little bit lower so that Dagdar will be able to take him out. It's interesting that my Leaf is actually getting skill. Last couple of times I played, Leaf either did not get strength or did not get skill for several of his early game levels, which is pretty bad in both cases. And now we're going to go ahead and capture with the Brave Axe. Alright, so we have to hit both times. Very unfortunate. We do have 90 hits, so we have a 10% chance to miss, and it's not impossible to even miss a 99 twice. I've seen it happen. And then, alright, cool, we can trade. I think we want to give the Steel Axe over to Dagdar for the time being. I don't think it actually matters who we give it to, particularly. The Steel Bow is useless on any character right now, so that doesn't matter. We are going to take and release. Yeah, just making sure he doesn't have his items on him. I do want to use that torch, so we're actually going to be using that torch with Ronan. Let's go ahead and take this bow over here and the torch. And then we will do just that. And the torch allows us to see 10 spaces away from our teammate that uses it, which is pretty cool, pretty wild. You can see this fort down here. There's a couple of forts in this lower section that are all reinforcement zones for continual pirates. You do have to be careful of that. And then we'll put Avel right there. We can, let's see, attack Iron Axe. We're going to be doing 12 times 2. That's not exactly what we want to do in that moment. We could... Well, this guy has an Iron Axe. I actually kind of want to attack the guy with the hand axe. I I think we're going to do just that. It's a lesser chance of us being damaged and or killed with Helvin. And we got damaged anyway, so it doesn't really matter, does it? We can move Finn here. Get ready to fight. And that's our turn. Very awesome that he decided to attack Finn. I wonder why that would necessarily be. Finn does have Weapon Triangle here. Now, interestingly enough, the reason why I have not brought up Weapon Triangle to this point in the game is because it is highly insignificant, which I don't mind. I don't mind when games in the Fire Emblem series change up the formula a little bit here and there. The Weapon Triangle was so incredibly busted in Genealogy that it's just insane, but in this game, it's only a 5% hit buff and debuff that you receive. So it's not really all that important to be worried about. We're going to go ahead and attack this guy with the Vouge. And he missed. Awesome. And we crit. Yeah, that 37 crit was multiplied by our follow-up critical modifier of 3. We had busted crit for a moment there. We do want Leaf to be as far ahead as possible, so though we also want Dagdar as far ahead as possible, we kind of can't help that in that moment. Right now, I actually think that it would be good to go ahead and attack this guy with Tanya. And she crit. Very nice. She wasn't going to KO him in the first place, which would have been fine. Would have been nice if we got all of that experience points on, or some weapon experience points on Finn, but it's okay. We're going to have plenty of time. Let's see. Where do we want to go? I want to be careful about where we go because, yeah, we don't want any ranged enemies to stay on the fort, because the fort in this game gives this almost the same bonus as the gates and thrones. It gives 20% avoid instead of 30%, but it still gives that plus 10 defense, which is wildly strong. Let's put Marty there, and we shall end our turn. This chapter is all not that difficult to play as long as you're using your pre-promotes. Especially Avel, because there is a time in the later point in this chapter where you're basically swarmed by a bunch of Myrmidons, and they will take out some of your weaker units, especially your axe users. You kind of want to be careful about that, in my opinion. Very glad that he is attacking Finn. Finn needs the weapon experience points, something fierce. And he crit, very nice. 7 crit too, that's all he had, and he just whipped it out and destroyed that man. Awesome. Avel is distracting both of these ranged units. Depending on where we can reach with our other units, we might end up attacking one of those ranged units with Avel, just to get them out of the way. All right. So we're going to go ahead. Let's see if we can... Okay, we're doing 15 times 2 there. That's too much. We're doing 11 times 2 here. We're actually going to KO him, which is okay. Would be nice to have gotten some experience points on Tanya with them, but he had a steel bow. I didn't necessarily want him to hit Tanya just in case. And then we're going to wait here, receive that torch. So this is the first of the hidden items that you can receive over here. We do want that torch for a later point in the game. And then we're going to go ahead and move over here with Tanya. It's not really necessary what we do with these 3 anymore because we're pretty much done with this area. Now, if we were to get a bunch of reinforcements, that would change. You can go up and to the right by going down. I believe here is a pathway that you can go, but I don't prefer necessarily going that way because it just slows everything down with your characters that are moving towards the objective. Alright, with that being said, we are going to go ahead and take out the bow unit. It's good to take him out because he has way more accuracy than the hand axe unit. Way more. Like, iron and steel bows have like 60, 70 hit. So, we're talking like leagues and bounds better. This guy is going to get himself finished off by Ronan and Ocean, hopefully next turn. At least Ocean. I don't know that Ronan can reach. Alright, so we can go ahead and move up. Ronan cannot reach, unfortunately. Well, he can now. Let's move... Yes, let's move Avel here. Dagdar as close as possible. Oh, awesome. Actually, super awesome. And then... Yeah, we could do, like, maybe some chip with Ronan. Actually, you know what we could do? We could attack up close with the iron. Yeah, that's going to do 11 times 2. Unless we crit, that is. And we crit. Poor Ronan doesn't get any more experience points. Probably not any more this entire chapter. But we shall see. Halvin, you can go ahead and move back for a moment. We're going to go right here and mount up Finn and wait. We are moving Tanya purposely because she absolutely needs something very specific. Alright, awesome. Abel is taking out the Myrmidons. There are 3 of them. They should all be able to reach Avel, alongside that warrior there. And we are going to be capturing that warrior, so we can have just a bit more weapons and items. See, now in this game, you kind of want to avoid... Aw, she needed to be moved up one space closer. That's unfortunate. Okay, so with Avel, you or with capturing, you kind of want to avoid capturing everything you possibly see. You just want to capture what's important to you and what's important to the use of your units. Otherwise, it's not necessary. Let's go ahead and attack this guy with the short bow. Um, 8 AS, Iron Bow. This guy has 7 defense. 11, so we would be doing 4 damage apiece per hit. We're not going to double him. Would be nice if we moved him up closer, though, so I guess that would technically work. We can move Ocean here, just in case we need to help. And then we can move Tanya right here and receive our other torch. So we do need 2 torches from this chapter, and we're going to be giving one to Dagdar and one to Tanya. For purposes we are going to see later on in this game. Why he attacked Dagdar is beyond me. Well, Dagdar had a bow equipped. I guess that makes sense. Alright, so with that being said, we can go ahead and attack this guy with our ranged units. Damage him down a bit so that we can successfully capture him. Awesome. I did not want a proc of Adept there, and we did not receive it, so that's good. Very nice. Oh, cool. We could even get a little bit more chip damage in on him. It would be kind of funny if we Adept critical. It would be actually really funny. Alright, with that being said, we should be able to capture this guy pretty darn easily. In fact, we only need one hit. This is the reason why you don't necessarily need Tanya to be with Dagyar to do the 2 captures he's going to do in this game. Or this chapter, I should say. Alright, so we can take that. We can definitely give you over an iron bow. We're going to give that short bow over to Ronan just to hold on to, because he doesn't need it. And yeah, so that looks pretty darn good. We can move Aval forward, and we can actually see 2 folks here. Shiva, the Myrmidon that Lithis was talking to. He has a killing edge and a vulnerary. You can capture this off of him. If you're going to capture him, it's very difficult. He's on a fort, so he has plus 10 defense. So he has 14 defense on that fort. There are some reliable ways to do it. I'm not going to exactly spoil how you can, but it has something to do with something else you get in this chapter. And if you do want to capture his killing edge, because this would be the earliest in-game you could receive something this powerful, technically, you do not want to release him after you capture him. I will just give you that little bit of a hint. Then we have the boss of this chapter, Lithis. He's a thief, level 4. He has no weapon on him, and any unit that does not have a weapon on him can be instantly captured by anyone who has more constitution than him. So, yeah, he's pretty well kind of screwed. All that being said, we're going to go ahead and end our turn. Yep, that was a very significantly interesting turn we just had the enemies take. So, right now we're going to go ahead and take that vulnerary, take that short bow, we kind of want that. The iron bow will stay on Dagdar. And then we're going to give him a vulnerary. And move Leaf upward. Now what we can do is we can capture Lithis right now. We don't even have to go into combat when you are capturing an unarmed unit. And with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and seize. The pirates seem to have escaped, but never mind that. Is the cleric safe? I've found her, sire. Thank you, kind folk. I owe you my... Huh? Is that? I beg your pardon, milady. Battle is dirty business, and if I have some grime or blood on my face... Have you forgotten me already, Lord Leaf? It's me, Safi. We met in Tara. Safi, you say? I knew a young woman at the monastery in Tara by that name. I only had the honor of seeing you 2 or 3 times, my lord. I suppose I wasn't as memorable as I thought. Still, you left an impression on me all the same. When you departed the city, it was I who wiped the Lady Linowin's face of tears. Ah, now I can place you. Your father was a priest, and you were rather close with Linowin, were you not? As close as a woman of common birth can be, I suppose. The Duke of Tara was Lady Linowin's father, and I am more her servant than peer. That aside, how did you come to be here? Has something happened to Linowin? You mean to say you don't know what's happened to Tara since you left? Ah, let me start from the beginning. After the Duke passed away, the Empire installed their own governor. The man proved to be a walking pox, inflicting tragedy after tragedy upon us. Just this year, they even began child hunts in Tara. Child hunts? That proved to be the breaking point. The people of Tara revolted, installing Lady Linowin as rightful Duchess. They hired any sellsword who could stand upright, and then sent offerings of gold and gemstones to the Empire's leading noblemen. It was an admirable effort, but King Bloom of Thracia did not forgive such a slight, and summoned the Imperial army to besiege Tara. The sellswords proved craven and fled, and now only a handful of militiamen stand between the Empire and our city. Lady Linowin bade me leave and seek out any who would fight in Tara's defense. Are things truly that dire? The Duke sheltered me for half a decade before the Empire learned of it and had him executed. Not a day goes by that I don't think of his generosity. You're seeking folk to aid Tara? Look no more. I pledge to deliver Tara from this evil. Let's be off, Safi. You will be most welcome in Tara, Lord Leaf. Thank you.
Well, don't keep me in suspense. What are you gonna do with me?
That's up to the villagers of Iz. We're taking you back there to answer for your crimes.
We both know what'll happen. You handing me over to them is as good as killing me yourself. Safi, come on, we had a deal. I said I'd go to Tara with you.
Lord Leaf, Lithus is not an evil man. He's committed many foul acts as a pirate, yes, but he seemed genuinely repentant when we spoke earlier. Give him a chance to redeem himself in the eyes of God. Alright, if Safi believes in you, I can give you a chance for the time being.
Ha! I cheated death once again. Just gotta wait for the right opening, then I'll book it. But come to think of it, if that boy is really the missing Leonster heir, the Empire'd pay mighty well to hear of it. It's worth mulling over at least. Either way, it'll have to wait until after Safi is given over to my many charms.
Yeah, I don't know how relatable or good that guy is, but he is funny. An interesting character, too. Ridding Iz of the pirates besetting it, Leif hurriedly resumed his course to Munster. It was not long until he arrived at Kerberos Gate, a small fortress that guarded the entrance to the province of Munster. Chapter 3, Kerberos Gate. And the ending of this arc.
Are the cattle being collected on schedule, Lobos? Baron Raedric, we've rounded up all the brats in the area. Rest assured, for the time being, I've locked them inside the fort's prison. What do you want done with them, my lord?
Best keep them here, until the Lapta Church arrives to claim them. The Magi may well try to flee the little worms. See that your men are prepared for an incursion.
Magi? As in those rebels from Munster? They're still alive?
To my great chagrin, yes. I thought they'd been wiped out, but they've resurfaced recently. The little swarm of flies seems to have a new man in charge.
Never a moment's peace these days. And what of you, sire? Will you be returning to Munster?
Not immediately. My journey has been most tiring, and I would rest here while I can. What better place for a man to catch his breath than the impregnable Kerberos Gate, Lobos?
Ha! Indeed, sire.
What a wild ride we have ahead of us in this chapter. That fortress, Kerberos Gate, guards the road into Munster. As strongholds go, it's rather small, but don't let its size fool you. The people of this area say it's more terrible than hell itself. Why? The soldiers here no longer watch over the road. They search for children. Lord Leif, the fortress now serves as a base for the province's child hunts. Child hunts? What are you talking about, Augustus? All across the Empire, children aged 7 to 13 are seized by Imperial soldiers. They're sent to Valhalla, the capital, and after the atrocities wrought upon them there, the ones who survive are never the same. They are children no more. They begin life anew as servants to the dark god Loptus. That's inconceivable. What manner of tall tale? I realize it sounds too horrible to be true, but this is no fable. This is the state of Jugdral. Even now, children languish in captivity within that very fortress, you see. What soldier could willingly take part in such a thing? No one with a spark of morality left, to be sure. I'm sorry, Augustus, but we must part ways here. I cannot allow this evil to go unchallenged. I must free those children from this barbarism. Indeed. Allow me to give you one last piece of advice, sire. Kerberos Gate is too small to fit horses, so have any of your soldiers that fight on horseback dismount before entering. Further, after everything they've seen, I'd wager the children are too traumatized to even move. Have your men carry them back to the villages, and their families will owe you a debt they can never repay. Fortune be with you, Prince Leaf.
Hold! This whole time you've known I was the heir to House Leonster?
But of course. What's more, I want to see you return to power. Let's arrange to meet in Munster after your business is concluded. Certainly, Augustus. We surely shall meet again. And this chapter is a wild one. There's a bunch of different side objectives to do and main objectives to take care of. These houses, for instance, these 4 houses, are conveniently related to each one of these children. Or I should say the children are related to each one of these houses. So we have Jubel, Romeo, Kyrpre, and Lucia. We have to take them all the way over to these 4 houses to get certain things and certain units. So in this chapter, we've got some very interesting things going on. So we first have our first mage we have to fight in this chapter, as well as our very own first bishop. He has Elfire, and he has a door key and a chest key on him. This man is wild and is very well programmed. I believe it's around turn 15. He will unlock this door, and then he will open one of these chests that has the Meteor Tome in it, which he has the high enough fire rank to use. He will use that long-range tome, it's 3 to 10 range, to snipe these children if you haven't gotten them already, and your units. Be very mindful of that. Otherwise, we have 2 new units to talk about. Safi and Lithus. Let's go ahead and talk about Lithus first. Lithus is a very interesting unit. He's a thief, and the only way you obtain him is by going to that 2x chapter and capturing him without releasing him. He has a follow-up critical modifier of 0, so this pretty well cements the fact that he's not really a combative unit, and he doesn't even have a weapon on him. However, he does have a lockpick, which is used to open doors, chests, and lower drawbridges, and is only usable on units that have the steal skill. We'll see that later. And he also comes with our very first scroll. This is an unlimited use item that just sits in your inventory. It blocks criticals and modifies growths. 30% HP plus 10% strength and minus 10% luck. He has pretty low bases, but again, he's not a combative unit. He has 65% HP, 35% strength, 10% magic, 25% skill, 45% speed, 5% luck, 15% defense, 10% con, and 2% movement. He is a very necessary unit, and not getting him actually hampers you quite a bit, especially in this chapter, because there are some things that you can steal. Let alone all of this, you can even see the modified growth rates in the growth rate screen. I love that. This patch is just amazing. Now, moving forward, he has 2 Vigor stars, so a 10% chance to move again, and 7 movement. D plus 30 in a sword rank weapon, so he's pretty close to C rank, which again, if you want him to be a combative unit, you very well can. All you have to do is train him up to C rank, and he's already capable of using the best sword in the game. No joke, no fooling. He comes with the steal skill. If user outspeeds a target, can steal an item with less weight than the user's con. This is really nice. So you want his con to grow. He has a very poor con growth, only 10%, but there are ways to supplement that later on in this game. You want him to have high con as best as you possibly can so that you can steal pretty much anything you want. This is not limited to things that are equipped or not equipped. Anything in somebody's inventory you can steal as long as you have more con than the weight of that weapon and you outspeed that unit. So you also want him to grow in speed. He has a decent speed growth too, so you don't have to worry about that necessarily. And then we have Safi, our first healer. She's a priestess and very low base HP. Decent bases though. Follow-up critical modifier of 1, so that means that when she is actually capable of using weapons after promotion, she can see reasonable combat, She comes with her very own preferential staff. It is weight of 6 and range of 1. Restores an ally's staff or weapon to pristine condition, and it has 5 uses. In this game, when a weapon or staff breaks, it just turns into a broken weapon or staff in your inventory, and does not disappear, unlike other games, which is pretty darn awesome. That means you don't have to worry about using up things like the light brand. Use it to your heart's content. The only thing is, though, is broken weapons will stay equipped, and they do become very disgustingly useless upon being equipped, and you can see your units getting killed. They get like 20 weight, only 30 hit, they don't have any range, any might, so on and so forth. It's pretty wild. Now, she has pretty respectable growth rates for being a healer: 35% HP, 30% strength, 60% magic, 45% skill, 40% speed, 5% luck, 3% defense, 2% con, and 0% movement. It's interesting that she has a strength growth, because that is of 0 purpose to her, as her class doesn't use any physical weapons or any physical items whatsoever, so it's interesting. Now, she has 6 skill. Why this is important is because when you are healing or using any staff, if you have less than 10 skill, you have the ability to miss with the staff. Once you have 10 or more, you cannot miss with it anymore. It's unlike hit with weapons in this game. So you do kind of want her skill to increase. She does have a reasonable skill growth, so that's not really that big of a deal. Later on in the game, there is actually implications of this that is great, because you still get the experience points as if you hit with the staff. So keep that in mind too. That's not something that Safi will be able to take advantage of later on in the game, because again, she is going to grow out of that 6 skill, so that's not really a big deal for her. You can also double with staves in this game, the healing staves. So like, for instance, heal, if like, let's say she's healing Dagdar, and right now she would only heal 10 HP plus user's magic to an ally, so she has only 16 healing that she can do. If Dagdar is missing 30 health and she heals 16, she has a chance. It's a proc chance based on, I believe, luck, maybe. I'm not entirely sure exactly how this works, so don't quote me on it, to heal again, so she can double. It does count as a use, so that is a thing. And it can even be done with other staves, but only if you miss. So if she missed with the hammer trying to heal or restore an ally's staff or weapon to pristine condition, and she missed, she would be able to get a second chance at it, which would basically double her experience points from it, because staffs in this game give tons of experience points, even without Paragon mode. Now, she only has 5 movement, no Vigor Star, and she comes with a C rank plus 40 in staves, so she's very close to B rank. The goal that you want, the benchmark that you want for staves in this game is A rank. She does get a whole rank upon promotion, so she only really needs to heal 10 times, or use a staff 10 times, I should say, in order to reach B rank, and then she's guaranteed to get A rank by promotion. So with all that being said, those are our 2 new units, and before we go ahead onward with this chapter, I do think this is a perfect opportunity for us to say our farewells. I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe depending on your platform, and while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.